Welcome back to Ghoster Coasters.
Whoa, wait a second. You welcome back to Ghoster Coasters. It's been a week or two.
Yes, it has. I am back. I had lots of work and things to get done. So
And what a time to come back, like today?
Right?
Of all
like,
days?
Holy moly.
What's going on?
The news that came out today, I am just shocked and shook.
What happened?
Six Flags and Cedar Fair have merged.
So that means there's going to be 27 amusement parks, guys, across the country in 17 states, including Canada and Mexico. This is amazing.
9 resorts, too.
Yeah, just tons of new stuff. This is pretty exciting to me. I'm excited for this. I don't know about everybody else. As far as the structure is going to go, Richard Zimmerman is going to continue in his position as CEO with the new company, and Salim Basul is going to become
the executive chairman of the board.
So this is some pretty cool news going forward, and obviously it's going to be like 52% Cedar Fair and 48 Six Flags. I know it was like 51 point something and 49 or whatever, but
51.2 and 48.8.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, 49, 51. That's better saying that. But yeah, it's going to be a cool little structure that they got going on. They're bringing the best of both worlds to both parks. I know a lot of people are freaking out right now, the ride names.
They're really freaking out because it's going to be Six Flags, not Cedar Fair.
And this is pretty interesting to me going forward. I mean, obviously we know a few things that they're planning on rolling out the new park pass systems here, and I'm not sure when, but they are looking at rolling out the new park pass systems. They have tons of parks in the metropolitan areas now, which is very cool for all of them. And it makes sense going forward with the Six Flags name instead of Cedar Fair, because like you recognize it when you say Six Flags Great Adventure, but if you were to say Cedar Fair Great Adventure, you'd be like, wait, what?
Exactly.
Like Cedar Fair has never done that, so it makes sense to continue going forward with like the Six Flags names and stuff. And no, it's not going to be Six Flags Cedar Point. Have yourself a Six Flags day. All of that, guys, stop overreacting. This is going to be a good thing going forward for all of us. I know it seems like a monopoly and this and that, and you can debate that whether it is or not, but
I think the parks are going to keep their individuality, like you said.
I think there'll be, exactly. Like Canada's Wonderland has its own brand itself. You know what I mean? Like there's reasons for these parks to exist within how they are now, and reasons to merge other ones. And people are also talking about the fate of all of these parks.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and get into it. What we think is going to happen. This is our way early predictions for how this merger is going to go. Obviously, you can tell we're a little bit more excited than some. So let's go ahead and get into it, and let us know down below. Give us all your comments. Sound off. How are you feeling right now about this merger? And we're here to kind of ease all of that going forward.
Hopefully.
So let's get into it. So Millennium Force is now going to be called Goliath. Kings Island is changing to Six Flags over Cincinnati. And we're going to probably get Six Flags Sandusky, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen according to all the enthusiasts.
I hate to say this, but it's not going to happen that way. You know,
a lot of overreactions here to that.
It is, and
I think it's just cool that they have the shared IPs now. And
yes,
I think everyone's overreacting, thinking that they're going to cloud all of this up and try to make everything like work together in one big blended mesh. And I think they're a lot smarter than that, everybody. I mean, they're not just going to jump this gun and then be like, hey, let's just blend everything.
I do think they're going to keep their uniqueness amongst all the parks. Like I've already said it once, I do think each park has its own individual uniqueness and what it is known for. And it's going to stay that way. Like, they're not
Raptor's not turning to Batman the Ride this year. They're not going to change Magnum to Joker the Chaos Coaster. I seen that going around on Twitter.
I will say this, though. Like, Six Flags has a little bit better theming to their coasters and stuff. And
You're going to get eaten alive for that one.
One thing I will say is I see Dorney Park with Iron Menace and the way that the theming is going on this.
That's all Cedar Fair's work, though.
Yeah, but it could have something to do with the process that is taking place now in previous talks. Who knows? That's just my speculation. I like to think that.
She likes to think that. I don't know necessarily, because I mean Cedar Fair did a lot of work there and they had to do the approvals, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I want to see more theming. I don't know if Six Flags theme's better or not. I think some of the characters are cooler, and some of the DC Justice Hall and all that stuff. Like, they've done some cool stuff there. I'm not a huge DC fan, so I'm not excited to see that in the parks or nothing. I don't think you're not gonna go see it at Cedar Point. You know what I mean? They're not gonna name DC Rivals the ride, the Dark Ride. At Cedar. I mean, watch me be completely wrong and it'd be DC Rivals the Dark Ride as the first dark ride back at Cedar Point in years. Come on, guys. I mean, let me know how you'd feel about that. That'd be an interesting one.
That would be.
But nonetheless, everyone freaking out about all the crazy ride names and everything else, and the park names changing. I think we can calm down a little bit. They have a plan in process. Six Flags is going to be the brand for the recognition, but I don't think all these parks are going to be changing their names, right?
No.
You know, it's not going to be some crazy change. Six Flags over Sandusky and over Cincinnati. Like, it's just not happening.
Even though I do kind of like Six Flags over Cincy.
Yeah, but Kings Island.
Yeah,
but Kings Island is it.
Yeah.
Kings Island is it.
Kings Island is never going to change.
Kings Island presented by Six Flags. Presented by Cedar. No, I'm just kidding. It could be an interesting one here, guys. Let us know what you think about all those crazy names. Hit your overreactions down below that you had before and now that you've come back on. We're kind of, in the middle here. A lot of this is crazy overreaction. Some of it valid. There's valid stuff to worry about here as well.
Exactly.
There could be the worst of both worlds coming into play here as well. But let's just hope for the best, and I'm expecting the best because all of the people, and it seems Cedar Fair is kind of taking the lead with Salim taking the second,
Yes.
Cedar Fair is leading the charge here. I think we're going to get the best of both worlds. We're going to get the best from Six Flags and the best from Cedar Fair, and what they do weak is what they're going to focus on cutting out next.
So that makes me wonder what relationships are going to be mended or disconnected completely, and by which companies.
Yeah, so Cedar Fair has, their issues with Intamin and RMC, supposedly. Six Flags has their issues with Gerstlauer. And then it also brings in the companies that they love to work with, like B&M and Mach for Cedar Fair, and Zamperla now. How is this all going to blend together? Personally, I think it's just going to be a healing process. It's a new company, fresh start going forward. And I think that they're still going to have, the careful approach to things. They're going to see what's reliable and they're going to test things. It's going to be financially responsible moving forward, I think, for both parks. And I hope that Six Flags is able to influence some risk at some parks, like Kings Island with an Intamin, something like that. Ooh. But I'm understanding that it's still probably going to be financially responsible moving forward. How do you feel?
I would really think that it's going to heal and mend some things, and that there's a good possibility that we'll see these coasters coming back to all the parks that we love.
Yeah, because you think like Universal building Velocicoaster and it being renowned and loved, and then you have Pantheon at Busch Gardens where it's kind of down a lot, where the locals say it's down. So it's hit or miss, and you're gonna get what you get.
Look at Wild Mouse. Wild Mouse has been down almost every day this summer in the mornings.
Yeah, it's interesting, and they're really tricky things anyway. So going forward, I think it's just gonna be a healing process. But how do you feel about all these new IPs at the parks?
So we get the Bugs Bunny group.
We get DC.
And the Peanuts now.
What a interesting collaboration there. I mean, I would have loved to see Scooby-Doo. I'm just saying, guys. But this is an interesting one. I'm not big on the DC characters, like I said in the beginning, but I hope we don't start seeing, Joker the Ride at, Cedar Point and stuff. But
true.
Nonetheless, I do appreciate having more options for merch and the little plushies and everything else within the stores. It's kind of cool, and it offers more of a wide base to their park goers.
I really loved the merch at Six Flags.
Yeah, we got our Haunt hoodies and some other stuff from there, and I spent about $83 there, and we all know that there's hoodies inside of Cedar Point shops that are $75, $80. So It's just like the zip-up pocket ones. The basic ones with the CP logo and that's it, and some orange on it.
$65, $70. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's just the park prices. We're changing the IPs to park price talk now.
I know, right?
I'm excited for the IPs, but the park price point, I hope, is more Six Flags ish than Cedar Fair, and I'll take a compromise halfway between. If you want to charge me $50, fine. At least that's still better than the $70 that Cedar Fair is charging for all their stuff. Six Flags, we walked out with, I bought some stuff for my girlfriend, I bought 2 hoodies for us, and some other stuff, and literally under $80. And it's just one of those things, and I didn't have a season pass at the time either, so I didn't get no discount, and we still got that. It's one of those things where I'm kind of hoping the price point stays Six Flags-ish. Are you on the same boat here?
I'm on the same boat, and I love the fact that we've got more characters to choose from.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that. Bugs Bunny, guys, Lola, come on. So this brings up a good point of we got all these characters. When do we think this total merge will actually be complete? When do we think we'll start seeing the end result of the new company starting to show through and bleed through to every park in the chain?
2025.
That was pretty much my guess. I could see 2026 being, the year as well. 2025, there's still a lot of investments that were probably in motion for both places. So
That's true.
that brings, but there's also the point where they're talking about at King's Dominion that Intimidator 305 losing its licensing might be rethemed. So does that bring the opportunity for some Six Flags stuff in, right off the
Exactly.
rip? Then, time will tell here. I'm kind of hoping that they go with their own theming there. I was thinking like a mountain theme with that one, or a jungle theme, whatever. But nonetheless, it would be cool to see some Six Flags stuff in that realm.
I think it's going to be an invisible barrier that we're going to see. Things are going to just start slowly popping up, and it won't be anything direct, and we'll just be there one day and be like, oh, dang. That's a Six Flags thing, or oh
Yeah,
dang,
but I'm talking
that's
more
a
or
Cedar
less
Fair
like
thing.
when are the full park passes going to be rolled out? When are the fast lanes going to
I
be
think
merged?
that's going to be 2025.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they're going to give us a little bit of a bone. Not sure when, and I don't think it's going to be for the whole season. I think it'll be towards the end of the season, and they're going to give us access to all the parks, and then say, "Hey, you see this? You can buy this for this price next year."
And I don't think the park prices or the passes are going to go up too much.
No.
We'll get into that a little bit more later because they said 55% of the guests visit the parks only visit 1 to 2 parks. So even adding all these parks, I don't see the value of it going up significantly, but it could. We'll get into that right now. So the year is 2025. The passes are being rolled out as, both parks as one. What are the price points?
I don't think it's going to go up that much. I think we'll have options. We'll have upgrade options.
Of course, yeah.
I think there'll be upgrade options like we had discussed with some people last night of regional and national upgrades.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I do too. It still gives you an option to be able to go to more parks, like maybe within your region. And if you really have the time to travel, it gives you the opportunity to upgrade and pay for even more parks. I really think a tiered system like that would work well.
Yeah, I agree. With 55% of their attendance being like season pass holders.
Yes.
And then them saying in the same sentence that they only go to 1 or 2 parks. You know what I mean? Like adding parks to it doesn't increase the value significantly. Obviously, having more options always increases the value. So it's going to go
Absolutely.
up. But people are acting like it's about to be like a Disney price all of a sudden. And it's like, it's not going to be $1,000 pass all of a sudden, guys. The fast lanes and
literally
stuff.
saw somebody post something saying it's going to be like $4,000 for a season pass. And I was like, nah.
That price point's crazy when you take into account that they understand that most people go to 1 or 2 parks like Cedar Point, Kings Island,
Yes.
Kings Dominion, Carowinds, things that are semi-close, California, Great America, Knott's, and that one's not even relatively close, but they're in the same state, so just the example basis there.
Exactly.
They're not going from California to Cedar Point to Thorny, and then they're gonna start hitting up Six Flags over Georgia and Six Flags over they're not doing a round trip to 6 different parks throughout the year. It's just not happening.
Even though we did see a few people do that this season.
Yeah, of course, the crazy
But
enthusiasts.
that's
Shout out to them.
Thuzies.
Yeah,
We
Thuzies
do
go
that
crazy.
kind of crazy stuff.
Definitely. So I've seen some safety standard things as well. Let's get into that. Seatbelts coming to Raging Bull and every single ride, right?
Well, we shall see. We all know that Six Flags does not have the greatest reputation for safety standards for their rides or for their guests within the parks, but Cedar Fair does. And I really think that there's a possibility that
Cedar Fair
they could-
does until this year. I mean, they've been in the news
Yeah,
a whole lot, so.
That's true.
And my big thing here is I hope they just drop the IROC in general and just run with regular operations, but we'll see how that goes. I'm sure they're going to have lots of meetings on how their safety standards and insurance policies are going to merge and whatnot.
Right.
That's for the big wigs. That's not for any YouTubers to really, speculate and understand fully. I would love to see the IROC drop, though. That's one thing I'd like to see. And
It slows
obviously,
things down.
yeah, and with Six Flags Cedar Fair merger, I think that park safety is just going to improve. I don't see how that goes down in that sense. So
Yeah.
I think everyone should be calm on that front. The park safety is probably going to skyrocket now because I don't think Cedar Fair wants to deal with like El Toro breaking and hurting people. Like they're not going to halfway fix things anymore at Six Flags parks, and I think that's an exciting thing going forward.
I thought when you said that.
So
El Toro is now part of our parks.
yeah.
Woo!
Craziness, right, guys? Now, the fate of all of the parks, like Michigan Adventure, Dorney Park, even the Valley Fairs, what's going to happen? I'm going to start off with Michigan Adventure real quick because I think a lot of people have a misconception about this park and that they're just going to close it off. That park is self-sufficient. The water park drives attendance all throughout the summer there. They are literally a self-sufficient park that just turns over every single year, in and out. They had plans for a hypercoaster pre-Cedar Fair.
Yes.
That park is going to do fine. The future's bright. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go build a hypercoaster or anything now, but the plans were there and in place before to build it to more of a regional scale park. So it's still going to be there. Whether they sell it or not, that's a different question. I kind of hope they sell it to someone who wants to see the park grow. Right. That would be lovely, having another park 3 hours away that has other options, because, you know, Canada's Wonderland's 4, Kings Island's 3.5, Cedar Point's 2. If Michigan Adventure got some cool coasters, count me in on that. That would be interesting. Now, the Dorney Park one, Cedar Fair just spent a lot of money investing there.
A lot of money.
I don't see that one necessarily going anywhere right away. The valid ones that I could see are California's Great America.
Yes.
That one's in markets nearby other parks that are now, there's 3 of them in the same state. That's an interesting one. What's going to happen with California's Great America? I don't know. It'd be cool to see some of those rides relocated if they do decide to get rid of it. But it sounds like the city wants it. So that's another interesting one. Let me know what you guys think down below. Sound off about that, because it could be a very interesting few years here going forward with this merger. Absolutely. All of these parks have interesting fates. I think the majority of them are okay. Six Flags Darien Lake and America, not Great America, America, those 2 are kind of on the chopping block as well. In my opinion, they could go or just be sold. I don't think they're going to close. I don't think they're closing parks. They're going to sell them off, but let us know what you think, guys. There's some interesting stuff here within this merger.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what comes and what goes and who buys what and what stays. But I definitely want to start hitting some of these parks while I still have a pass to be able to go to them.
I just got a Great America pass this year too, man, and the Flash Pass all season.
Because I want to make sure that I have the experiences as they are now and what they become.
Yeah, so you can compare it to what they have become over the years.
Absolutely.
I agree. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, we love all of our subscribers. We can't wait to hang out, meet you guys, ride some rides with everybody, talk more roller coasters with everybody, and get to have a genuinely great time.
Winterfest, 11/24, the weekend after Thanksgiving, opening weekend, 2nd annual Winterfest meetup with Ghoster Coasters.
Yep,
Woo!
So be there or be square or, you know, just be at another park in a warmer climate. I don't care. That'd be pretty cool. I'd rather be there too, so I get that.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Remember, go off in the comments. I want to hear all of your overreactions right now. And as always,
thank you for being a part of this spooky community and
Coaster Ghosting with Ghoster Coasters. Have a great night, everybody.